We're good. Okay. So good day, everybody out in Facebook land. I'm actually here alone today. It's unusual. All my regular students were busy or at the doctor's or whatever, so it's just you and me today. So I'm Jessica Lewis, and the name of my company is Sculpt Your Life. And what I do here at the Cancer Support Community every week, actually, it's just that we're only on the live stream pretty much every other week, every first and third Wednesday, is an evidence-based moving mindfulness practice known as Tai Chi Cha. I emphasize that third word because a lot of people don't realize two things. Number one, there's a lot of different kinds of Tai Chi in the world. There's that. And number two, when most people say Tai Chi, they don't even realize that they probably are using a nickname for the practice that they're referring to. Most Tai Chi practices in the world, if you were to look at their full, long, formal name, you would see a third little word in the end, and it's usually Chuan. And that means supreme, it means fist. And Tai Chi means supreme ultimate. So if you put those two concepts together, what you come up with is supreme ultimate fist. And you can tell right off the bat that most Tai Chi practices in the world they're incredibly slow and meditative. That there's no denying that. They feel very meditative when you are doing them. But they are also a very slow moving martial art. So in reality, even though many teachers don't talk about it, you are effectively talking about warding people off, defending yourself, all that kind of thing that gets involved in martial arts. There is one Tai Chi practice on the planet, however, that is not martial, but is instead an evidence-based moving mindfulness practice, nothing other than that. And guess which one it is? Tai Chi Cha. Then how you know? You just know by the name. That third little word Cha, it's spelled C-H-I-H. I don't know if you can see my little sign over here. I have all 20 moves over here on a sign. And that third little word is spelled C-H-I-H, and it's pronounced Cha, like chuck wagon. And it means knowledge of. So if you put knowledge of together with supreme ultimate, what you got is knowledge of the supreme ultimate. And you can tell right off the bat, this is not a martial art. It's nothing other than a way to get in touch with your absolute essence while doing mindfulness at the same time. Double prizes. Like, who here hasn't heard that mindfulness is good for you, right? Like, you have to almost have had your head under a rock for the last 20 years to not know that mindfulness is very, very, very good for your health and wellness. So with Tai Chi Cha, what we've got is something that looks like Tai Chi Chuan practice, but there's no martial art whatsoever, and you get all the benefits of mindfulness, and you even get some of the benefits of a good quality night's sleep built in there as well, because to the untrained eye, one of the only differences you're going to notice if you've never really participated in Tai Chi of any kind, you're going to notice that in Tai Chi Cha, we start from a motionless position. If you were seated, it would look like this. If you were standing, it looks, very simple, like this. And then you move, and then you come to a graceful conclusion, we often say. You just sort of flow back to rest. And you just pause for a moment, and you feel your body at rest. And so how often during your waking life do you actually have the opportunity to literally feel the sensations in your body when it's absolutely at rest? When you're asleep, you're asleep. You don't know what it feels like, right? So that's why I think it gives you some of the benefits of good quality sleep, that and other reasons, but that's the most obvious reason. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be doing Tai Chi Cha, the evidence-based moving mindfulness practice. I might do a couple of movements in the chair, and then I'll switch to standing. So for those of you who are unable to stand, you are 100% able to do Tai Chi Cha. There's a lot of Tai Chi practices out there that are so challenging that people with movement limitations cannot do them. But that is not true of Tai Chi Cha. It is available for anyone. I've even worked with people that were really so banged up physically that all they could do was visualize themselves doing the movements, and they still experienced, as one of them liked to say, medicinal relaxation from participating mentally in the practice. So we're going to do that too. The other thing I wanted to share with you all, though, I was actually planning to share with the class today, if it weren't that every one of them had something else very important to do. But this past weekend I went to a retreat with my first and will always be favorite teacher, April. April Leffler, if you're out there, I'm shouting out to you. You are the best. You will always be my very best teacher. And ostensibly, you would think that it was an intro level retreat, because there were a bunch of people there that had never really encountered Tai Chi Cha, and if they had only been doing it for a little bit of time. They certainly weren't seriously experienced, and many of them weren't teachers. There were a few teachers in the room, though. So on the outside, at first glance, it looked like we were just taking a slightly deeper dive into exactly how do you move in Tai Chi Cha. Like, for instance, using the effort of no effort at all. That really is the best way to do Tai Chi Cha. And flowing smoothly and softly, put a pin on that. And moving in circles, letting at least one body part move continuously, almost as if flowing in a circle, right? Those are really the best ways to do Tai Chi Cha. And they're also the best ways to actually use what we like to call the effort of no effort. Deeper, though, if you looked deeper at what April was saying to us, what I realized was there was a much more profound message in what we were playing with over the weekend. For instance, no matter how soft you get during your practice, no matter how softly you move during your practice, do you leave softness at the door when you're done with your practice and go back out into your everyday life? And to be honest, I do. I don't do it all the time, and I don't do it 100%. I like to think I'm a little bit more self-aware than the average person, because I do teach, kind of do teach mindfulness for a living. But it is true that sometimes I am not very soft out in my regular life. The primary example of that is I don't speak to myself or think about myself in totally soft, gentle, and kind terms all the time. I just don't. Sometimes my inner voice, the little monkey that lives in my mind, he talks to me in ways that I would never speak to someone I like. So good heavens, how can we soften that inner voice? How can we allow the Tai Chi Cha practice to inform the softness with which we treat ourselves? So that was one big, huge aha for me. But especially within the context of teaching Tai Chi Cha at the cancer support community, where people are dealing with a cancer diagnosis, is there a way to soften the way we look at what's coming? Right? It is the human condition to constantly want to leap ahead to what may or may not happen. That's just the way the mind works. It's constantly thinking ahead, thinking ahead, thinking ahead. And sometimes that can be very anxiety-inducing. And if you're dealing with a cancer diagnosis, you might be, negatively impacting your health because of that, because you might be building up a lot of anxiety about how your health may be in the future. Right? But if we can softly embrace the impermanence of life, that's really one of the only things we can count on in life, is that things change, right? Whatever comes our way will be easier to just flow through. I can guarantee that that's true. And that's one thing I've discovered through really exploring my Tai Chi Cha practices. It helps me be more comfortable with whatever happens. So that's what we're going to be doing today. On the surface, we're going to be doing Tai Chi Chuan, which is nothing other than evidence-based moving mindfulness practice. But while we're doing our practice, we're going to be exploring ways to let the body move as softly and smoothly and continuously as it can. And by doing so, you're going to cause a shift in the way your mind works too. And you're going to be causing a relaxation throughout your body, which also helps cause a shift in the way your mind works too. It's like a wonderful snowball effect instead of a negative snowball effect, right? So let's first begin in the chair. We're already in the rest position if we were going to do Tai Chi Chuan in the chair. What you normally do to rest in between the movements when you're sitting, when you're doing a seated Tai Chi Chuan practice, I'm going to show you from the side, is you just found the most comfortable, relaxed position for everything from your sit bones up, so that I'm not using any of my core muscles to be upright. If you're leaning back against your chair, I want you to just scooch a little towards the front so that you're totally responsible for being upright all by yourself. Okay? And you probably will feel your sit bones pushing down to the chair. That's normal, because they're basically the bottom of a little stone cairn. Your whole upper body is kind of like a pile of rocks that are just balanced so perfectly that they're just sitting there. And the curvy bottom rock are your sit bones. All right? And then you just put your knees kind of in front of your hips, and you put your feet kind of underneath your knees, and you just rest your hands on your legs. So this is the rest position. And you just sit here for a moment and notice the sensations of the body when it's resting. Right? And if we were doing our practice in the chair, then we would then do a movement, and then we would flow back to rest, and then we would do another movement, and then we flow back to rest. But since we haven't started our practice yet, I'm going to actually guide us through a good old-fashioned, small, short, I should say, mindfulness experience. So we're just going to sit here in the chair in the same position we just talked about. And if you'd like to close your eyes here, you can. Sometimes it's easier to use your mind's eye to notice what's going on inside your body when there's less information actually coming in through your eyeballs, right? And then just let your thoughts move into the body and then just drop down. You want to let your attention land somewhere in the very middle of you. Right down into the middle of your pelvis, if you like. It's sort of a bowl. I don't know if you know that, but it's the shape of a bowl. And just look at either a location in there or a sensation that you're experiencing with your mind. And I'm going to go ahead and ring my singing bowl. The Buddhists would say I'm calling the bell. And that's a fancy way of saying I'm going to ring it. And your whole job until I call you back out of this reverie with another little set of bells is just to notice whatever you happen to notice going on in this spot that you have chosen to pay attention to. Okay? And if your mind wanders, by the way, remember, it is the human condition for the mind to leap ahead, or dwell on things that have already happened. It's hard for the mind to be 100% present, so we're going to practice being more present while we're doing this too. And let's go ahead and begin. attention back to the room. And if your eyes are still closed, now would be a very good time to open them up. So I think what I'm going to do is do a couple of moves in the chair, and then I'm going to stand up and show you the rest of the moves standing. But I'll show you enough of the movements in the chair, both forward and back and side to side, so that if you choose to stay in your chair, or if you're unable to do it standing, you'll know how to do the moves, all the remaining moves in your chair. Okay? All right, so another thing I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to turn a little sideways. I'll actually move my chair. I believe you'll be able to see what's going on in the forward-backward moves more easily if I'm sideways to you. So here we are resting. And to do any of the forward-backward moves in the chair, all you're going to do is basically explore the curviness of your sit bones pushing down to the chair. They're shaped about like that. They're very round. And we know from physics that round things can move very easily on flat things. So it's very easy to kind of roll around on your sit bones. So here we are just rolling slightly back and rolling slightly forward. We're only going forward and back to the degree that your whole upper body can go along for the ride, almost like the stack of stones again, like the little stone cairn. But we don't want to move so fast or so big that that balanced little stack of stones is going to tumble apart. But the only thing that's moving in this entire little stack of stones is the bottom stone. It's just sort of rocking. And the way you'll know that's happening is when you move backwards and the bottom stone kind of rocks, you're going to feel your belly and your back get a little flatter. And when you move forward and that little rock just sort of rocks forward, you're going to feel your belly and the small of your back getting a little curvier. Right? So go ahead and just feel that. I'm going to show you what it looks like from the side. Now let's do one more. Let's move backwards. And to do the first forward backward move, you just let your hands hang down, palms facing toward your knees. And as the little stack of stones moves forward, the hands just rise. And as the little stack of stones moves back, the hands just fall. And this is called rocking motion. Nice. And one thing I love about this move is that very quickly, especially if you're seated, you'll begin to get the sensation in your body, everywhere but your arms maybe, that you're sitting in a gliding chair on the front porch. It's like sitting in a rocking chair, only even easier than that. It's so relaxing. And what's one of the easiest ways to relax? We all know it inherently. If someone were to hand you a fussy baby, you would just rock them, right? That's just something we're born knowing, that rocking makes you relax, calms you down. And another thing I love about this move is that it's sort of like watching a willow tree in a really stiff breeze. You know, the whole trunk will move a little bit. It'll stay upright, but it'll move a little bit forward and a little bit back. But what you really see moving around in the breeze are the branches. And that's how the arms and hands are behaving. And we normally only do 9 of these, but since it's the first move, we also consider it the warm-up, so I like to do more than 9. Let's just do 3 more though. Here's 1, 2. And here's the third one. And when we're done, we're just going to let the hands float back down to rest. And take a moment to feel the body at rest. And then we're going to move. Let's do the next move in the practice. It's called bird flaps its wings. The hands are going to be really close together, not quite touching, but very close. And they're just going to drop down to about halfway between the belly button and the groin. And as the whole little stone cairn moves forward, of course, the belly's going to get rounder, and the lower arms are just going to get the hands out of the way for you. So here we go. Bird flaps its wings. Nice. On this rep, we're going to do a little circle in the air, mostly with the wrists. Let's do 2 more sets just like that. I'm hitting the windowsill. Here's a circle. Let's do 1 more set. I like to say we move out at 1 mile an hour and we come back at least twice as slow. Maybe slower than that. Gives you time to build up the energy between your hands. And right here we're going to rest. Nice. Let's do 1 more forward-backward movement where one foot would, if you were standing, would be much farther out than the other. In the chair, though, it's not going to be quite as dramatic. So everybody just take your left foot and move it, if you're still sitting, just an inch or 2 out. It's mostly a metaphor when you're doing the practice in the chair. So you remember that if I were standing, the left foot would be much farther out. And we're going to pretend there's an invisible turkey serving platter out in front of your body about the height of your heart. And you're going to put your hands near the back of the platter. You know what? I have my little prop here. I didn't put all the props out that I wanted to, but this one's good. And what I like to do is pretend that I have a little ball of energy under each hand, and the balls are actually sitting on the platter. Right? So when my whole little stone cairn moves forward, the hands are going to go out over the left leg because it's the one that's out there. And then when I move back, they're going to come back over the right leg. The little balls of energy are going to stay under the hands, though. So here we go. The wrists will sort of flatten out a little bit here at the end. And then kind of flex up here. That's because the wrist gets so relaxed during Chai Chi Cha that there's always a little bit of a wobble going on in them. And we normally do 9 of these, but I'm going to go ahead and just do 6. Here's our last one. And we're going to flow back to rest. Nice. Let's do the other side. Put your right foot out there now. Good. Feel how your little stone cairn is at 6 o'clock if you were looking down on a clock face. And when you let it move as far forward as it's going to move, your hands are going to be at 12 o'clock. Okay, so here we go. Let the hands float out over the right leg this time. Back over the left. Nice. Let's do 1 more. And we're going to rest. Good. Now I'm going to stand up and I'm going to do the next move standing. If you're also standing with me, you're going to I'm going to take this little thing off my hands. You're going to put your feet in sort of a V. If my feet were my hands and I could pick them up and show them to you, you'd see that my feet are sort of in a V. Any position sort of like this in which your heels are a little bit closer than your toes is probably the best position. But whatever works for you, even if it's that'll be fine. All right. So, but when we're standing around under normal circumstances, we're not really thinking about grounding usually. We're not fully cognizant of our feet touching the floor when we're just standing around under normal circumstances. When we're doing Tai Chi Cha, though, in between the movements, we are really thinking about basically plugging ourselves into the earth, really grounding. So all you do is you let your tailbone kind of drop and tuck slightly. And when you do that, suddenly your entire lower half becomes incredibly supportive, almost like one huge redwood tree trunk, the two legs combined, right? And the backs of your knees get a little bit soft, but most importantly, the soles of your feet really press down either into the insides of your shoes or into the floor if you're barefoot. So first, let's just stand here and feel the lower body deeply, deeply grounded. And for the hands, you're just going to lift the fingers until your palms or fingers are in roughly the same position they were in when they were resting on your thighs. Here we are, just resting. And in order to get one foot much farther out than the other, let's start with the left foot out there. You're going to let all the weight from the left leg just drain down into the right leg. And when the left leg is totally empty, all you need to do is lengthen the left knee. And the heel will basically get out there almost weightlessly. It's almost like you're about to step out on ice and you don't know if it's going to hold you up. So there's really almost no weight in that front leg. And then we're going to put our hands near the back of the platter again. And here's going to be the little variation. As we flow forward, the fingers are going to lift. And then they're going to level out again. It's suddenly as if you have a ball of energy between your hands, and then it just drops off the plate. And this is called around the platter variation. It's just like the last move, only it's got a slight little variation in the hands. I'm going to do 6. Last one on this side. And we're going to rest. Nice. Now I'm going to do the other side. Use my little prop again. Here we go. Let's drain the right leg into the left, extend the right knee, hands to the back of the platter. And here we go. Oh, there's that ball between the hands. And then it drops off the front of the platter. Nice. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this practice, if you find that any of your muscles are really kicking in, you are definitely not using the effort of no effort. So back off. One more repetition here. Nice. Let's do a few more of the forward-backward moves. If you'd rather sit down, feel free to do so. Let's do bass drum. We're going to start with the left foot out. So let's drain the left leg and extend the left knee. And then we're going to let our fingers run around the skin sides of a high school marching band bass drum. You know, another thing that might be getting in the way of you using the effort of no effort is being worried about whether or not you're doing this right. Let that go, okay? Let's do one more. Nice. Now let's do the right side. Yeah, that's another example of not being very kind and soft to yourself, right? Being constantly worried about, am I doing something wrong? There's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Cha. It's been my experience that it's all good and it just gets gooder. Relax that inner critic. And notice how much more relaxed it makes your body feel. One more. And let's flow back to rest. Nice. Let's do daughter on the mountaintop and move the chair back a little bit more. We'll start with your left leg out. I'm going to mirror to you since I'm facing you now. Left leg first. Hands were here, they just turn over. And as you flow forward, the hands come up, almost like they were going to clap, but at the last minute they miss each other. It's a good example of the imperfection with imperfection, right? The suggested order of this practice is that we do 9, but we'll do 6. Last one. And we're going to rest. I'll show you the move from the side. With your right leg out. Nice. Move softly and smoothly, as if you're flowing through really heavy air. Let's do one more. And let's do daughter in the valley. We did daughter on the mountaintop. Now we're going to do daughter in the valley. Let's start with your left leg out. Here we go. Nice. Look at the soft turn of the wrists so the fingers can just fall more easily. Isn't that nice? It's lovely. How the body's always drawing some sort of circle in the air. I might have miscounted. We're going to call this next one 6. And right here we're going to rest. Nice. I'm going to show you from the other side. Okay, move my chair a little more. So here we are resting. We're letting the right leg just almost float out there. And this is what daughter in the valley looks like from the side. You see how all the moves are sort of kind of like you're rocking. There's a rocking quality to all of them. Let's do one more. And we're going to rest. Feel your body at rest. Nice. The next move is a side-to-side move. So I'm going to show it to you in the chair. let's pretend we were resting right here in the chair. Again, that little stone cairn alignment. I'm scooched a little bit towards the front of the chair so that I am in charge of being upright rather than the back of the chair. And in all the side-to-side moves in the chair, all you're doing is letting the entire little stack of stones, except the top rock this time, turn from side to side. Okay? So let's start by turning towards your right, everything but the head, right? So if you lose sight of me, it means you turn your head, and don't do that. Okay? So when the little cairn turns to the right, can you see how the right shoulder backed up? The left shoulder came forward. That's important. Put a pin on that for another move later. So now there's effectively a hole where your shoulder used to be. And you're just going to put your hands right there. Right? In fact, I'll hold my little ball. Yeah, like you're holding a ball of energy. And then you're just going to totally relax your arms from the fingertips down to the elbows, and they'll just drop. And then we're just going to start to turn from side to side. And it's going to carry the hands across the top. And then carry them across the bottom. That's it. We're going to do 3 sets of 3. On the third one, you're just going to let your hands float down to your lap and just be at rest for a moment. Then we're going to do it again, starting on your right. That's it. Nice. And if you're noticing one shoulder moving forward as the other one moves back, let's rest. And one knee moving forward as the other one moves back, the corresponding knee actually, to your shoulder. You're doing it right. And we're going to rest. Now we're going to start on your left and do 3 sets of 3 moving towards your right. Here we go. But again, all that being said, remember there's no such thing as bad Tai Chi Chuan. So there's really no such thing as right or not right Tai Chi Chuan either. Feel your body at rest. Again. In the end, if all you do is ask your body to do some reasonable facsimile of what you're watching me do, and rest. Nice. You're going to be doing really good Tai Chi Chuan. Wonderful. All right. I'm going to go back to standing because the next few moves are standing again. Let's do push-pull. All right. We'll start with your left leg out. So I'm going to move this leg. It is my right leg, but I'm mirroring. Here we go. Nice. We normally do 9. That would be the suggested quantity, but we'll do 6. One more. And we're going to rest. Nice. Show you from the side. Let's let the right foot float out there. Here we go. I might have lost count, but we're going to do one more and call it 6. Feel your body at rest. Let's do pulling in the energy. We're going to start with the left leg out there. Hands under the turkey platter this time. One more. And I'll show it to you from the front. This time with your right foot out there. Good. Here we go. One more. And we're going to rest. Nice. Let's do a couple more side-to-side moves. So in order to do side-to-side moves from the hips down, because I've only shown them to you in the chair so far, we're going to do the same principles of movement we did standing. We're going to do the next move we're going to do is pulling tapping. So first we're going to let all the weight shift into your right leg, just like we normally would. But then we're going to let the whole little stone cairn turn to the right except the top rock. So here we go. There, I turned. And you see how this shoulder came out and this one went back? Right? So to do pulling tappy, you're going to let the arm that's attached to this shoulder just cross your belly like you're holding a tray of cookies. Right? Let the other arm just sneak up on top of it. Let your empty heel, in this case it would be your left heel, just sneak out to the side. And then as all the weight in your right leg flows into your left, the whole body's going to shift and it's going to pull the hands apart. And when all of your weight is on your left leg, we're just going to stand up on it and we're going to rest. I'm going to do everything I just said to you just now without talking. I'm going to do it in pieces. Just copy me, okay? That's it. I'm going to do another set just like that. No talking, but in pieces. It's like we're doing chunky peanut butter. It's kind of smooth and kind of not. So here we go. Nice. Again. Nice. I'm going to do one set all smoothed out, like smooth peanut butter. Here we go. Nice. I'm even going to show it to you turned around. Normally we just do 3, but I want you to get a sense of how this move works. Okay? All right. Here we go. Nice. Feel your body at rest. Now there's 3 variations of pulling taffy in addition to the one we just did. I'm going to skip over the middle 2. I'm going to go right to the 3rd variation. Many people just call it perpetual motion taffy. It's just like what we just did, only it's perpetual. So I'm going to do a short set facing you, and I'm going to turn around and do another short set facing away, and I'm not even going to talk about it. I want you to just copy me. Just ask your body to do some reasonable facsimile of what you're watching and move as smoothly and softly and effortlessly as you can, and that's going to be more than good enough Tai Chi Cha. Okay, so here we are. We're starting on your right, and we're flowing towards your left, but without stopping, we're going to flow right back to your right. It's kind of tricky, and yet it's not. The end of one set is the beginning of another. That's why it's perpetual. I love this move. We're going to do one more set here, and we're going to flow back to rest. Feel the body at rest. And I'm going to turn around and do the whole thing again. All right? Starting from your right. Let's do 6 sets with my back to you. The end of one shift is the beginning of another. Last set. Feel your body at rest. Very nice. Now we're going to do a move called working the pulley, and I'm going to stay with my back to you, okay? It's a combination of forward, back, and side to side. So I'm going to talk you through it on the first side. On the other side, I'm going to zip it, and you're just going to copy me. So here we go. We're going to start with the left leg out. So the left elbow bends, and the hand comes right up to the shoulder, just like it did for push-pull. And the right lower forearm just turns over, so now it's facing the sky. So as you're moving forward, you're also going to let the entire stone cairn, except for the top rock, turn from side to side. And that's what's moving one arm forward and one arm back, actually. You don't have to do almost anything here. You'll even feel the turning of the upper body kind of rippling down your legs. One more here. And let's flow back to rest. Nice. I'm going to do it with the right foot out now. So let's go ahead and empty the right leg so it can extend. Up goes the right hand. Rotate the lower left arm. Here we go. See if you feel that upper body rotation causing your rear heel to kind of move in towards the middle, and then the front toe to kind of pivot out towards the right. Let's do one more. Nice. Awesome. The next move, I think you'll have an easier time understanding if I do it sideways. So we're going to do light at the top of the head, light at the temple. It's like a two-part move. Okay, it's super easy. We're just going to scoop up a little bit of chi, bring it all the way up to the top of the head. If this does not hurt, if you have any kind of condition that inhibits your hands from being able to get all the way up here, just put them where you can. And we're going to let our weight, even if you're seated, it's going to be the same. Let all of our weight shift backwards and then shift forwards. And you're going to feel a little contraction here and like a whole body expansion. Good. Now mix forward. You're going to pull your energy up and out of the top of your head for about 6 seconds. And then you're going to hold for an equal length of time. And now you're going to do that contraction and expansion thing again. I'm going to show you from the front. Your hands are going to circle here, and the left hand is going to come up closer to your body than the right. And just feel your body resting. Nice. And now we're going to do the same thing, only you're going to let your hands come up to your temples. Okay, here's the contraction, expansion. Good. Shift, or mix forward, we like to say, for about 6 seconds. And hold. Big circle here. Nice. Feel your body resting. Nice. Now the next move is called joyous breath. It's a lot like the one we just did in the fact that it's a very up and down move, but we're going to have our feet in sort of a number 11 position. The same way they'd be if you were doing rocking motion, standing or seated. Okay, so just let your left foot flow out there a little bit. Now your feet are pretty much right under your hips. And we're going to sink down and exhale all the air out of our lungs. Inhale as you come up and forward onto the fronts of your feet. Turn the hands over, and you're going to exhale and push down your hands sort of in 4 sections. Totally relax at the bottom. Again. And let your left leg just flow back to your right. Feel your body resting here. Nice. And we have enough time that I'm going to show you the next move, passing clouds, a short set both facing you and turning around. Okay? It's a beautiful move. Very recognizable. Almost everybody looks at this and feels as if they've seen it before. And it's the only Tai Chi Chuan move that actually begins with a weight shift to your left. Okay, so that's how we're going to start it. If you're thinking it looks just like carry the ball to the side, only the hands are moving independently, you would be correct. And once you put your foot out there, they just stay glued down. I actually had to shift my feet a little bit on that first repetition because I didn't like where my feet were. Let's do one more set here. We're going to end by moving back to your left again. Nice. And now I'm going to turn around and we're going to do a set of 6 again, but with me facing away from me. And we're going to start by shifting towards your left. One more. And we're going to rest. Nice. And the last move I'm going to show you today is the second to last move is called 6 Healing Sounds, but I'm going to stay facing away from you. I'll describe what's happening. I mean, it's semi-complicated footwork. Don't worry about the sounds also, by the way. I'll make the special healing sacred sounds for everybody, okay? All right, so we're going to start by letting the left hand and the left foot go forward first, and we're going to make the sound ho. And we're going to go forward again with both hands with the sound hu. And we're going to flow from the right to the left with the sound su. Su. Now the right hand and right foot are going to flow forward with the sound sh. Sh. And both hands with a she. Sh. And we're going to flow from your left to your right with a chui. Chui. Let's do that whole thing 2 more times. Both hands. Flow right to left. Both hands. Flow left to right. One more time. Left hand, left foot. Both hands. Left to right. And we're just going to flow perpetually from side to side. One more. And rest. Nice. And the very last move in the practice is called Cosmic Consciousness Pose. And we usually start from rest. Just pick the left heel up and rotate it slightly. Drop it down on the right ankle. It's like you're kissing your right ankle. And let your arms rise up, so your forearms are about the height of your shoulders. Your fingertips only overlap, and the left hand is going to be the hand that's closer to your body. And you can drop your gaze to your fingers if you like, or the entire room peripherally, or both. And then you're going to flow back to rest. Feel your body at rest. Nice. Let's just stay in this position now, since we started the practice seated and we ended it standing. Let's just let the body be at rest. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, you can do so, but don't do it if you're going to lose your balance. Find that effortless position for your entire body, really, so it's almost as if you're simply sleeping. And let your mind's eye just focus on a particular location or sensation, perhaps somewhere right in the middle of your body. And I'm going to go ahead and call the bell one more time. Here we go. attention back to the room. And I hope you liked that. Again, my name is Jessica Lewis, and the name of my company is Sculpt Your Life. And the practice that we explore today is the evidence-based moving mindfulness practice known as Tai Chi Cha. And remember, the lesson for today is how soft can you actually get, not just in your practice, but can you take softness with you when your practice is over? Can you soften your inner critic? Can you show up softer in your interactions with other people, especially people you don't agree with, right? Can you soften your perspective about what is or maybe is not to come? We're always thinking ahead, thinking ahead, thinking ahead. Can we get more relaxed about that? You know how they say that babies never get hurt when they fall down because they just roll? Can we be like babies, you know, and just roll with what comes, right? And if you want to learn more about all this, just Google me. I'm so easy to find. Jessica Lewis, spell it any way you want. Sculpt Your Life, spell it any way you want. I'm almost always the first thing that pops up when you're Googling. And Tai Chi Cha, you know, there's a whole bunch of information on my website. You'll very easily find more information about Tai Chi Cha. And again, we're going to be on the live stream. We're here every first and third, every first and third Wednesdays of the month. That's what it is. Every first and third Wednesdays of the month, we're on the live stream. So I'll see you again. This is the third Wednesday. I get so confused. So, yes, if you have a cancer diagnosis and you want to be here live, you're certainly eligible. Or if you're a caregiver for someone who's dealing with cancer, you can be here live every week. You're certainly eligible. Just reach out to my supervisor, Erica Narducci, here at the Cancer Support Community. She's the program director, and she will help you get in. Otherwise, we'll see you again on the live stream in about 2 weeks, okay? So take good care. Bye-bye.